You don't get music by pressing the same keys on a keyboard. You have to press different keys at different interval of time to have a melody. Hi there, my name is Laven Lokesh. I'm a public speaker and trainer and I welcome you all to my public speaking course. This is a 8 video long course in which you shall learn public speaking, and we are here today at the fourth part of our public speaking course, which is about voice. So voice is always considered more beautiful than music because voice is mesmerizing. Your voice can make sure that you attract the right audience and make them listen to you in the way you want them to be listened. Okay, so last video was about get ready. How do you get ready for your speech? So how do you prepare for that? So all these stuff were discussed in the last video. I would recommend you to watch that video after completing this video. Make sure that you have your notepad and pen handy because we shall be discussing some important aspects, and watch the video twice in case if you miss out any points you can make a note of it. So this video is divided into 3 segments. The first segment is why voice is important. The second segment is what is the essentials, what are the essentials of a perfect voice, and the final segment is how do you improvise your voice. So let's start this video. So starting with why voice is important, what is going to be the impact out of this? The answer is very simple. The first major thing is the connection you get with the audience, because you can't be very feeble and have a good connection with the audience. If people are not going to hear you, will they listen to you? It has a lot of meaning. If you're not audible, if you're not speaking in a certain way that they hear you, they won't listen to what you're saying. So the connection with you and the audience is established just because of the voice. You can't run a mute show and make people to stick on to the seats for just 3-4 hours. So to have a pleasing voice is really important here. And the next thing is emotions. So emotions can be conveyed with voice. I can speak in a way that I can show my emotions, or I can speak in a way that I show my pleasant emotions, and I can speak in a way that I show love and affection. So different ways of showcasing emotions through voice. So emotions are something which stirs up a human being and makes him do an action. So as a speaker, if you're able to stir up people's emotion, I'm sure that you can be a greater speaker. The next is control, because a speech goes anywhere around some 30 minutes to 3 hours or 4 hours. So you want the people to be in your control because you are ruling the stage and you want them to listen to you. You don't want them to get off the seat and go away. So you have to control them. What has the dominion over people? Your voice. That's exactly right, because your body language comes after voice in this aspect, because your voice should have such dominion so that people stick onto their seat and they want to listen to you over and over. So control is established by your voice. And next thing is understand. It is people must be able to understand your speech, because you can't speak very fast so that people don't understand your speech, because you don't understand. You have to be speaking in such a way that people must be able to understand. Your audience must be able to understand what you speak. For example, I just scale up with this. When I speak and I don't listen to my speech when I play it back, I make sure that people are not going to listen. So I should make sure that I am able to understand what I speak. That's the basic criteria here, right? So understanding, that is, you have to make people understand what you speak. That comes because of your voice, the way you speak. So this is the why which you have to make your voice much more pleasing and much more deliverable as a public speaker. The next part comes, which is about what is essentially required in a voice. The first thing which is essentially required in your voice is the pitch. So pitch is something like you use like high tone and low tone in different combinations, right? For example, like I can be speaking about today we're going to see about voice, and it is considered to be the most important thing. So voice, when I tell the word voice, I take it to the high pitch, and when I tell it's considered the most important thing, I go to low pitch, because I want to make sure that there is a difference between what I speak and I'm placing a value of it. Sometimes, like when you speak loud, it means normal, but when you put it in a slow tone, it means you're telling a secret to the audience so that people will get more curious to listen to the points which you tell in the lower tone. Or when you speak in a monotonic tone and suddenly you increase the pace and increase the volume, increase the pitch, it means that people must be listening to that because it's something important. So pitch is something where like you increase and decrease the pitch of your voice so that people get inquisitive to listen to you. Pitch can also be called as intonation, is where like how do you pronounce the words in different pitch. That's called as intonation. That's the other word for pitch. Okay, so that's the first part of what you should be doing. The next thing is volume, because volume is something really necessary, friends. For example, we're recording this video here, there's a microphone on there. So if your voice is so feeble, the microphone can't pick up my audio and send it to the camera, and when I'm going to publish on YouTube, you won't be able to listen to anything. As I'm speaking a bit audible, that's a bit louder, so that my microphone picks the volume rightly and does that's the other case, like you're on the stage. If you don't have a microphone and you're addressing a group of 30 people, so let's consider 30 is a good number where you don't use a microphone and you have to speak. There you have to speak in a very bold way and your volume must be so high, because that's when people will be able to hear you. If you imagine that you have a microphone, like if there is a mic in front of you, you can speak in a what do you call this? Not a very loud way, but in a way which the microphone is able to amplify and produce sound. That's different. But if you don't have a microphone, it's totally a different story. You have to use your voice. So at different places and different circumstances, whether you have the equipment or you don't have an equipment, whether the hall is designed in a certain way that whatever you speak is reflected through walls and the audience hears it properly, you have to make sure that you adjust your voice, because your voice has a lot to deliver your speech. Okay, the next thing is the pause. So when I speak continuously without any pause, what happens? You're going to be able to listen what I'm saying. Okay, yeah. So when I speak without any pause, you won't be able to listen what I'm trying to say. I can be a bit faster, but not without a pause. This is the pause. Okay, so you have to speak and you have to give a pause and go to the next thing. So without a pause, if you're going to speak for a little bit long time, what happens? People don't listen. So people won't listen when you speak without a pause. So make sure that you give pause in the right places and don't make it speak for fast. Don't make your speech so fast. So the last thing, the most important thing is word per minute. That is how many words you're going to be speaking in a minute. The average is like 60 to 120 words per minute. So 120 is the most fast, like per minute you speak 120 words. Maybe the words are very small, but if the words are big, it can be 60 words per minute. But this is all just a calculation, friends. For you, for your style, you can make sure that what is going to work for you in the right way. For me, it's going to be like whatever it is, I make sure my audience pick up my words in a proper way. Like I'm making this course, I don't want to use complex words, so I make sure that I have to use simpler words. I have to use simpler definitions. Like I don't use the word intonation, I just use the word pitch. So I make sure that everything is simplified so that even a school-going kid can watch this video and become a public speaker. That's my concern over here, and so that I make sure that everything is simplified, and even I don't even care about the grammar here. I make sure that I speak in a very easy way. I speak in a way like I speak to my friends. That's how it's done here. So like when it's done that way, I don't care about the word per minute count, but still I want to make sure that will this word per minute count in my speech will be able to be like digestible. Is it digestible for my audience, or is it not so properly conveyed here? So word per minute depends upon audience to audience. Certain audience can pick up your pace very fast, like the way you speak. It's called as pace. The term is pace. How fast you speak, that's called pace. So I just given a simplified way to word per minute. Okay. So your pace can vary from audience to audience, so that make sure your pace is always not stick on to one thing, because certain audience want it to be very fast, certain audience want it slow and steady. For example, school going kids need it in a slow and storytelling manner. If it's going to be a storytelling manner, it's going to be like very slow, it's going to be long, and you're going to give a lot of pauses. But if it's going to be for an audience who are like top graduates, they want it fast, they want it like they want to be pumped up all the time, right? So it depends. That's it for this, what are required in the speech. And the final part, I told why and what, but how do you do this? This is the biggest thing, because everybody speaks about what to do, and nobody tells how to do it. But I have the solution for you, don't worry. The first thing is breathing, bro. Like without breathing, you can't do anything. Like if you're not able to breathe properly, I'm going to speak properly, okay? So if I have a proper breathing, only I can. So that's just an example, okay? If you don't breathe properly, you can't speak in a proper way. You have to be able to breathe. You You have to be able to control your breath. You have to hold on your breath at times. You have to make sure that you breathe in the right way. So all these things all these things comes only with practice, and the practice is done by breathing exercises. And you can also do like physical exercise like cardio or like some basic weight training. Not to I'm not just trying to go to hit the gym. You can do it at home also, like you can do some squats. So all these things will help you to increase your breathing rate, and when you increase your breathing rate and after you that control your breathing rate, you'll be able to like have a hold on your breathing. So when you have the hold on your breathing, what happens is that when you're giving a speech, you'll be able to manipulate your breathing, and you can make sure that you deliver awesome emotions, awesome control on your voice. Okay, that's about breathing, and there is a lot of exercises for breathing. We'll be sharing it in a different video sometime later. Then next thing is mics, because oftentimes many times we'll be having a microphone because we'll be addressing a larger audience. It's not always sticking on to like 30 to 40. It's going to be always more than 100, 200, thousands of people, because you're going to be a great public speaker someday, so that you'll be addressing even a million of people in front of a camera, something like this. So their microphone is something really which is really you must be understanding how it works. For different microphones works in different ways, so you must have a clear understanding of microphones, because there you can increase or decrease your volume, and you can make sure your speech is going to be much more clear, and it's going to be much more understandable for the audience. So that's about mics. So you have to exclusively learn about your mic which you want to be using on the stage or off the stage, like when you record a video. The next thing is that the next technique to develop your speaking skills, develop your voices, a loud script. This technique was already discussed in the previous video of getting ready. So to improvise your voice also, this is going to help you. For example, like I have a script written for this particular particular video. So it's like voice, good breathing, monotonic. So I just write in a hint format, and I just read it out loud, so that I make sure that everything is done. But I don't do it this way. I generally take a book, and I just do the practice. For example, thought and character. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. So when I do all these things, I make sure that the pitch, the volume, the pause, and the word count, everything is I've just taken into consideration, and with that I practice, I read it out loud, so that I can memorize the whole thing. Also at the same time, I can have my voice tuned and trained for a great speech. The last part is live jigs, because you can't make sure the first jig which you do, the first speech which you give is going to be the awesome speech. Yeah, my first few speeches were really worst, but still the content was good. That's why that's what motivated me to do more speeches. But still, the first few speeches I was like able to I was stammering, and this is exactly I was doing the first speeches. I was not able to deliver it properly because I didn't have practice. I didn't have a lot of practice. To be frank, I'm recording this video after 2 years of me not speaking English. I was training in Tamil. I was literally doing everything in Tamil. I didn't even have a chance to speak in English with my fellow mates also, because here everything is in Tamil. So I didn't even make videos in English. But I just wanted to make videos in English in this channel, because it's gonna be something really useful for you people. So I had to practice, like at least for a week I had to practice again. So to bring back my pace and my style of speaking. Okay. So live jigs will be helping you to gain more practice and gain more confidence. But the first few jigs will be really awkward for you, but still you have to overcome it. After your 10th to 12th jig, you're gonna be really an awesome speaker. Okay. So that's about how you practice. And there's something which is really important for you to note. The first thing is food, and the second thing is habit. Food, because the food you eat is gonna affect your throat. So don't eat too spicy before a speech, or don't eat too much before a speech, so that you can breathe properly, and you'll be having like a really nauseating feeling out there on the stage. So make sure that you eat at least 1 hour prior before a speech, and don't eat too spicy or too oily. And habits, like you're gonna have the habit of eating a lot of ice creams, or eating something so cold, your throat's gonna always get a flu, that is you will be getting cold, so that your throat won't be so good. You have a sore throat, so that you won't be able to give a good speech. Okay, so make sure that you control your habits. Like if you're gonna smoke a lot, your voice is gonna be totally affected. I've seen people who are like on the top, the stars of public speaking, have come to the ground just because of their voice, because they lost their voice because of all these bad habits. Okay, so I just want to just highlight this point also here. That's it about this video, friends. For the next video is going to be about body language. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel and share this video to your friends, so that when the next video comes, everybody's going to watch it together and watch our previous videos also to be a great public speaker. So until next time, this is Laven Lokesh signing off. Have a great day.